Well, Jonesy, 7 years at Durham is about to come to an end. It's fair to say you've made a huge amount of progress as a cricketer over that period. How would you reflect on your time with Durham?
With really good memories, to be honest. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time here, made some really, really good friends, met some really, really good people that are now my close friends as well. And yeah, I've just loved it. My game has improved, significantly in that time. I've played a lot of cricket in that time, and I just look back on it, with really in really high regard. I've absolutely loved my time here, and yeah, I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I've had.
Let's go back, I guess, to the start of your Durham career. 2017 for Scotland Day against Durham, 173 without you scored. I guess that was really the start of Durham coaches noticing you as a player. Just take us back to them early days and the memories of the start, really.
Yeah, that was it. That's how I ended up here. Playing for Scotland Day against Durham. At the time, I was a cricketer who was just looking to be noticed. Essentially, I'd written to Scotland to let them know that I was available to play for Scotland, and I was just seeking opportunities, wherever I could get them. And without that game, I may never have ended up here. And so, yeah, luckily I got some runs. Spoke to Neil Colleen at the time, who said that he was happy for me to come and trial here at Durham. And from that point forward, essentially, during that year, I trialled at a couple of different counties. But I always knew that I wanted to play for Durham. I absolutely loved it here every time I came to play for them. And I just wanted to come back, and it was the following season I was offered a senior academy contract, and I'd signed it before. Literally, as soon as it was mentioned, I was like, yes, 100%. Don't care about anything. I just want to be around next year. So, from that point forward, it's been amazing.
Just touching on that senior academy contract, just tell us a bit about your relationship with John Windows, the academy director. How much did he play in that contract? I guess from a Durham point of view, we don't often bring players from outside of the region into the academy, so yeah. Pretty special for them to give you an academy contract.
Yeah, I didn't have loads to do, John. Almost because the way that it worked with me playing in the second team, it was more Killer that was in charge, and so we did some training sessions with John, who helped me with my technical aspects of my game and worked hard with me in the nets. But from sort of like a man management point of view, it was more Killer, Whack, and everyone at the time. But yeah, helped me a lot.
You mentioned 2018 was when you kind of joined Durham. 2019, you made your first class debut. Durham were kind of going through a transitional period at that time. You started the season batting 3, I think, for Durham. Yeah. Bit of a testing time for you, but looking back now, how beneficial has that been, if you go back to that day?
Yeah, it was class. It's been very beneficial. At the time, it was Derby. We played Derby here at Riverside, and they had a couple of test bowlers playing. And I think Cam Steele was captain that game, who went off injured. I got hit in the head from what's the bloke's name now? Oliveira or whatever his name was. He was bowling rapid, and I remember coming off, and I said to Will Smith, who was in the team at the time, "Is this what first class cricket is all about? Is this what it's like every week?" He said, "No, it's not like this every week, luckily." But that was my first taste of what first class cricket is about. So it's fair to say that was a pretty tough test. And I played, sort of game in, game out for a couple of years after that. And so, my introduction to first class cricket was really challenging. But I do think it stood me in good stead for when I did get a more, a consistent run of opportunities. And yeah, it was an interesting time. But again, I loved it. So 2019, as I mentioned, you played a few games at the start of the year. 2020 was COVID. 2021, you really got an opportunity in the first team, and then 2022, is it fair to say it was probably your breakout year as a player? I guess first class maiden 100, yeah. First class maiden list 100, and then leading run scorer for Durham in the T20 Blast. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, up until that point, I'd made some contributions to the team. In 2020, 2021, I had a couple of decent knocks, but it was 2022 really where my confidence really grew, I think it's fair to say. Leading run scorer, as you say, and that was a season I was really proud of, and I look back on thinking, I'd like to regain that form almost. It's just funny how things go in cricket. You know, it can feel like you're on top of the world, you know, at times, and then all of a sudden you're maybe a little bit out of form here and there. But yeah, that was definitely my breakout year, and then you know, from there I tried to carry on, you know, as best that I could, and enjoy it along the way as well. You know,
you did carry it on into 2023. You and Leezy at the top of the order, I guess, formed a formidable partnership in Division 2, playing a key part in our promotion. I guess back into Division 1. How proud of an achievement is that for you to see you've helped Durham get back to Division 1?
Very, very proud. Yeah, that's probably the highlight of my career. You know, winning that trophy. That season, you know, was full of such good memories on and off the field. You know, the sort of, you know, the bond I'll have with these players now after being promoted is one that will last a long time, and it was definitely a very, very enjoyable year. And you know, to have started in 2018, you know, with Durham maybe going through a bit of a rebuilding phase, to then promoting Durham, you know, last year, and then the club just going from strength to strength really in that time. I definitely am proud of my own journey, but also how far Durham have came in that time of me being here. Yeah, definitely.
You mentioned the promotion was a highlight. What would you say has been your highlight in a Durhamshire on the field over the last 6 or 7 years?
I look back on it and immediately think of the wins that we've had. You know, when Kuhneman got the last wicket, I think it was against Worcester here. Yeah. You know, I took a catch at Sussex off Pajara, and everyone went mad. And then, you know, the personal stuff, you know, where I got my double century here against Middlesex, and that was definitely a highlight. But ultimately, I don't think of one memory. You know, I just think of the time spent with the guys, you know, over the years, and how close we've become, and you know, there's the relationships that I'm going to really miss, you know, because we are a very tight knit group here, and so, you know, ultimately I'm sad to leave, you know, but yeah, this is the way it goes, I suppose, and it's professional sport, and yeah, I've just absolutely loved it.
You touched on it there. You've got a lot of bonds in that Durham dressing room. I guess that will be a hard thing to take away when you move on to Lancashire. How hard will it be knowing that you're not going to be in the dressing room with some of your closest mates? Yeah,
it will be tough. You know, I will miss the guys dearly. You know, like, it's a club full of good people. You know, Durham is what I will say, and it's a really, really strong club full of great players. So you know, I am sad to leave ultimately, and I will miss the guys. But you know, I have to look forward. You know, and I'm excited to get to Lancs and form more hopefully great relationships and yeah, and continue my journey, I suppose.
Throughout that time, you've obviously had plenty of opportunities with Scotland, impressing at the recent World Cup. How nice is it that you've been given the opportunity to represent the national team and have special memories along the way?
Yeah, very special. I love playing for Scotland, something I'm very proud to do. You know, playing for Scotland initially is how I ended up at Durham. And so I've got a lot to thank them for, really. You know, it opens a new world in terms of playing international cricket alongside county cricket, and so it's something that I'm really proud of. Yeah, definitely. And as one door closes, another one opens. You mentioned a new chapter for you at Lancashire. How much are you looking forward to the new opportunity moving ahead to next season? Yeah, I'm very excited. Very, very excited. You know, to go back to, you know, what is really my home club, I suppose. Durham has been my home, you know, for the last 7 or 8 years, like you say. But you know, Lancashire is where I'm from, and so to join a club, you know, a huge club in Lancashire with, you know, great facilities and whatnot, and also live close to my friends and family back home. You know, when they knocked on the door, you know, it was hard to turn down, and it was something that I thought long and hard about, but ultimately, you know, that's the decision that I've made, and I stand by it, and I am very excited to join.
Just to round this off, if you had one word to describe Durham, the people, the place, the club, what would that be?
Special. It was a special place.